today I want to share with you how you can manifest quickly by acting on an inspiration. Hi, I'm Danny Khursigara, the founder of Freedom One International Executive Coaching, Training, and Business Transformation. Best-selling author of Road to Success and 8 Success Keys to Help Millennials Thrive. Now, I have been coaching CEOs, entrepreneurs, and corporate executives for several years, and what we found is that acting on inspiration to be one of the fastest and the easiest ways to manifest your goals and desires. For me personally, I found meditation to be one of the most powerful practices that you could have in your daily routine that allows you to have access to inspiration that you could never have access to in a 9 to 5 job or when your brain is totally cluttered with distraction and noise. So what meditation does, it frees up that space for you. Now, most of you know that I have a goal to positively impact 50,000 people in 5 years. And I do that through my coaching, through my corporate seminars, my public seminars, and through my books. However, one morning when I came out of my morning meditation, I had an inspiration and an idea to create a movie on personal growth. Now, I have absolutely no experience, no skill, and no education about creating movies. I just like watching them. But because I do this work, I understand the power of acting on an inspiration. And that night, this idea kept nagging me throughout till 4 a.m. in the morning. I woke up at 4 a.m. and wrote an email to my mentor and friend, Jack Canfield, telling him about my dream and asking if we should produce and create a documentary film on personal growth. 15-20 minutes later, he wrote back saying, "Keep having dreams like this," with a smiley face. Now, I didn't know whether he was joking or whether he was, he took me seriously or not. But a few hours later, the CEO of his company, Patty Aubrey, she called me and said, "Danny, I heard about this email you sent. Only 2 days ago, a 5-time Emmy-winning director, Nick Nanton, approached us to create a documentary film called Soul of Success on Personal Growth. And since these are the initial stages, would you be willing to sign up as a producer for the movie?" Guess what my answer was? It was a resounding yes. So you can imagine the time between inspiration and outcome. So you need to act on your inspirations. A year later, this movie won 2 Tele Awards, which are television awards, and was nominated for 2 regional Emmy Awards for Best Cinematography and Best Directorship, just in 1 year. So there was no struggle, no hard work, no effort on my part, but you could manifest when you act on an inspiration. Another story I have about myself was when I was naming my company Freedom One. Initially, I'd called my company Transcend International, but later in a week or so, my lawyer said that, there are similar names outside in the market and it sounds a bit confusing, so can you change it? Again, I went into my meditation practice, and as I came out, I had an inspiration to look at my 5 main personal values. And so my values are love, family, freedom, happiness, and best success. So I picked up the word freedom because that resonates with me deeply, and I added the number 1 to it because when I was living in China and Japan, the most prestigious and important addresses usually started or ended with the number 1. So I just called it Freedom One International. But the minute I decided on the name, and it's very important that you have to make a decision. Nothing happens till you make a decision. When I decided on the name, it took me back 10 years ago to 2007 when I was the CFO for ABN AMRO Bank in Japan. And my company was transferring me to the Philippines as the COO and CFO for the business there. Now, I wasn't too sure if that was a good move or not, so I took advice from one of my American friends there, asking him, "Do you think this is a good move to make?" And he says, whenever I'm not sure about a move, he usually seeks counsel from one of his spiritual advisors in the United States. And if I was open to it, to having a conversation with her, he could give me access. So I said, with skepticism and a lot of hesitation, I said yes. It doesn't really hurt. $25 for 5 minutes is not that bad. So I gave her a call and asked her about my situation, my predicament, and she said very casually, "Yeah, it's okay. I think it might be a good move." But then she asked me, "Is the name of this company you're working for, is it called Freedom?" And I said, "No, it's called ABN AMRO. It's a bank." And she says, I see you working for a company called Freedom at some point. Now, my initial thoughts were the only company I know with the word freedom in it was a tampon company. And I said to myself, there goes my $25. But lo and behold, 10 years later, I named my own company Freedom One. And as soon as I made that decision, it took me back to that memory in 2007. So the point I'm trying to make here is, and why I'm sharing these stories with you is, it's very important to act on an inspiration if you want to manifest something easily. You know, the reason you have an inspiration is because you have the capacity to fulfill it. And remember, insight without action is worthless. You have to doubt your doubts before you doubt your faith. You know, sometimes you might have ideas that seem unachievable, unattainable. They seem bizarre, outrageous, impractical, illogical. But if you have that inspiration, it means you have the capacity to fulfill it. And when you act on it without doubt or over-analyzing it, you'll be surprised with what shows up in your reality. I can promise you that. So if you like this video, subscribe and like below. And you can leave a comment or a question. I would love to connect with you. Thank you so much.